I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
The model teaching personal and social responsibility was the dominating model that drove this week's session focus. As Quay and Peters 2009 express, TPSR should be the backbone of a lesson as it enables students to develop concrete understandings of the social expectations. Through this model and within the overarching sport education model, students were able to build a foundation for their persisting team. This was achieved through activities such as fairy tale charades, which required students to problem solve in groups. A challenge of the TPSR model for our team was to be able to constantly, critically self-reflect, although we found this to become an easier process as the season progressed. A key learning taken from this unit is that dance is not necessarily about reflecting set movement sequences, but is about constructing safe and supportive environments in which students can freely explore, create, and improvise elements of movement through their bodies.
So multiple models were used in this week's creative and social dance focus through the theme of 70s disco, though fundamental motor skills were the leading model for this week, as it was only the students' second week of dance, which meant they were referring back to their fundamental motor skills to adequately participate in activities, since their dance background was very limited at the time. So things like walking, running, skipping, twisting, bending, they're all a part of the Australian curriculum's what you could say rubric for assessing if a student are demonstrating knowledge and skill in rhythmic and expressive movement education, which directly relates back to the umbrella of sports education, which identifies a successful student as being able to show competence, literacy, and enthusiasm. However, competence was the overshadowing element for fundamental motor skills, as it stated that a competent sportsperson has developed sufficient skill to participate in games and activities.
Week 7, students were more confident in their ability to move expressively and rhythmically, and as whole 2005 states, by following TPSR from the previous weeks with creating and developing games, helps build upon and strengthen their knowledge about in, through, and about movement by providing them with opportunities to create and develop their own dances. However, as Higa 2005 expresses, he believes using the CGG model makes it difficult to link to the curriculum. However, by choosing the theme fear and designing the class in a way that empowers students to express their own personal feelings and discover strategies to be resilient in that issue links directly to a number of content descriptors within the Victorian curriculum. Before starting this unit, my passion for dance already existed. However, throughout the weeks building to the culminating event, I believe my notion of dance and the importance of teaching young students how to be comfortable moving in their own body changed rapidly. I can confidently say, using a range of model-based practices, I'd be able to teach and empower students the true meaning behind moving expressively and rhythmically.
The model teaching games for understanding was particularly evident for the theme of HPE gestures during week 8. This model, according to Bunker and Thorpe, was developed to place students in situations where they were forced to problem solve and to make strategic decisions about gameplay, in addition to developing sport-specific skills. With fundamental motor skills complementing this model, students continued to establish movement sequences using sporting elements whilst expressing these in a rhythmic and expressive form. This assisted in broadening and building their understandings of dance and the movements involved. It was evident that students struggle with the transferal of movements from HPE gestures into a dance context. However, scaffolding lesson activities to construct knowledge facilitated in overcoming this challenge. Ultimately, engaging with this unit has improved my level of confidence and competence to utilise a range of model-based practices that will support students' learning in this area of the curriculum.
This week was the final dance lesson, which focused on developing the necessary skills and time to gather and cement our ideas for our final performance. As an educator, I provided the dance element of freeze frame, which could give us an edge and excitement into our final dance. Through my observations of my group, I found that visualizations and demonstrations succeeded, where often words and explanations failed. In addition, a digital resource was used as a quick and easy tool for reference. The sports education model uses a festive season format of approximately 10 to 12 lessons. A drawback of the sports education model is due to the set content or theme of the season. This may cause many disinterested students. Some added benefits of using the sports education model is that students are organised into mixed ability teams, which allows them to work with peers that might not necessarily be their first choice. The sports education model at its best can create a dynamic where proficient students are paired with students unfamiliar with the theme. This helps them visualise different movements and begin to expand on their own abilities.
Overall, this season was really successful. As a group, we were able to achieve the use of model-based practice to construct a quality festival performance.
Over weeks of establishing skills, tools and techniques, we were able to execute a well-cultured routine.
This was achieved through a critical reflection of our teaching practices against the TPSR rubric and via the unpacking of our weekly dance performances.
We believe an integrated model-based approach within schools is extremely achievable, effective and innovative.
As Vicky Goodyear states 2015, that physical education is able to exist in a number of forms and meet the range of learning outcomes.